both of them are actually starting with the strongest class, which would be these two class. Well, not the strongest class, it's probably the most consistent class, I mean. But playing the most consistent class is actually good in like a conquest kind of format. The reason why it's good is because you want to feel like you want to test the waters. You want to know what your opponent is kind of like playing, and you start that with your strongest class. And by using the strongest class, if your opponent tends to not play something that's conventional, you can see what they're playing and then beat the deck, and so that surprise factor is actually lost. So that's why it's good to actually start with the strongest class that you have in your lineup. So Possessed Villager being played on turn 1, that's actually quite good. So double flame whip is what I really like to see here. So this is actually a very, very strong kind of opening. So very, very good. Okay. So double flame whip. Oh man, that's actually really hard for like Perna to actually deal with. Unless he has Abusive Sergeant, but he doesn't, so it's gonna be really hard. Okay, so Dark Peddler is being played. Voidwalker seems to be okay. Elven Archer seems not bad as well, comboed out with the Possessed Villager, just because you can remove the Flame Imps early next turn. Especially when you don't have the Abusive Sergeants too, so yeah, I definitely like taking the Elven Archer. That's the only way that allows you to actually move these two Flame Imps on. Okay, so yeah, okay, so Possessed Villager is probably the only thing I would trade to because you don't want too much value out of it. Ooh, okay, yeah, I like this, I like this. I would possibly play a lot more aggressively, or maybe actually just pop the Death Rattle and use the second Flame Imp to actually go face. But since you're trading it anyways, you might as well trade out the whole thing of the Possessed Villager with the Death Rattle token. Alright, so the Dark Peddler goes into the Flame Imp just so it can sort of leave the Councilman contesting the... So, there is actually a full board kind of clear for Ginge just by using the Abusive Sergeant into the... Yeah, your own Abusive Sergeant and into the Dark Councilman. Looking really good for Ginge. Also having a very good start in the beginning too. It really matters in this kind of matchup is because Zoo itself doesn't really have any kind of comeback missiles or board clear, so you really need to fight with the board with like certain tempo kind of cards. You really have to take advantage of Power Overwhelming and also Abusive Sergeant as well. And we see the Elven Archer doing its job, sniping down the Abusive Sergeant, putting ahead just a little, not just control the board just a little bit, hoping to find that tempo that he needs to come back with. In Perna's kind of side, I feel like the way that he can actually come back is with like a very big creature like the Doomguard that we see in hand, or possibly like the Sea Giant. You have to pose a threat to Ginge and make moving the Direwolf Alpha as well, just because it does represent 4 points of damage and the Councilman only represents 3. But I think the potential power level that the Councilman actually has is actually pretty disgusting. I feel Ginge is probably answered with his own kind of Doomguard. The Imp Game Boss is... The Imp Game Boss is actually not really too relevant right here, so... Yeah, so having 3 big bodies on board from Ginge's side, very hard for Perna to actually beat them down with like an empty board, like to get the board kind of back with the empty board. But Knife Juggler is probably one of the cards that you can bring back the board with. It just needs to snipes down to 2 1-health creatures. If he can do it, he's definitely in a very good position. Oh, but it goes to face. Direwolf Alpha really needs to die here because it does represent 4 kind of damage. Oh man, it actually hits the correct target too. Oh man, that defensive Argent is being picked up. That's a really good pickup. It allows the Doomguard to be a lot more sticky. I can easily trade into the 6-1 kind of Doomguard. I preferably go face here. You do have a lot of damage on that. So, okay, so trading here. So leaving up with a 6-1 kind of body where the Archer Squad can trade very cleanly into. Direwolf Alpha is being picked up right now. So tapping right here to see if he has another card. Oh man! The Forbidden Ritual, that is a good card to pick up. So trading the Argent Squire into the Doomguard, replenishing the board. This is the comeback kind of mechanism that Perna actually needed to potentially win this game. Alright, so just because Perna is a little bit ahead on board, Ginge trading out just a little bit. Oh man, picking up the in-game boss is really good too. Direwolf Alpha is going to be really good here. It's going to be trading out most of the board too. Just because if he puts it on the far left between the Argent Squire and one of the tentacles, he can potentially use all the creatures to potentially trade everything out. So you're using one of the 1/1 tokens instead. Well, he's gonna so his whole board doesn't really add up to exactly 3 damage anyways. So yeah, trading it out like that. So using the tentacles on the left hand side to trade one of them. Especially when the Dire Wolf Alpha is buffing the Voidwalker, the Argus is gonna die anyways too. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is really nice. So everything is gonna be traded out. And then just forcing the Defender of Argus to trade into the Voidwalker. I definitely like this play. Oh, but picking up the Doomguard while also allowing to play the Voidwalker, that is really good. So Voidwalker is possibly being played, and Doomguard is probably going to trade into the Voidwalker, and then using the Argent Squire, the Defender of Argus to trade into the Direwolf Alpha. Oh man, and having his Doomguard protected too, so this Doomguard is probably going to do a lot of work, but a Defender of Argus is going to be picked up. If a 1-drop is picked up, oh man. Both of these cards are going to be buffed up by Defender of Argus, so it's looking pretty good for Perna right now. That's because his face is also being protected too, so this Defender of Argus will probably have to do a lot of work to actually bypass these taunts. Possessed Villager is not one of the cards he's actually looking for. Knife Juggler can potentially actually be pretty good. So being played with a Possessed Villager, I personally want it on the 1/1. Just so Perna doesn't have a lot of bodies to actually trade into Ginge's board. Wonder if I should tap or not, but I feel like the taunt itself would actually be safe enough, and another Doomguard is picked up. Man, that's actually pretty disgusting what Perna is actually picking up right now. So you can use the 1/1 to actually trade into the Doomguard, and then use the 3/4 to trade into the Knife Juggler. And Ginge knows that he can't actually fight back with the board because he's too far behind. So this